Welcome to the Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. I'm so happy you found us. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on I-Fiber1 News Radio, KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9.
Well, the sun is shining once again. It's a beautiful day as we start together here. Good morning to you. And Spencer, good morning.
Hey, good morning. What's going on today?
Well, I'm just thinking back to yesterday's great day at Shelton High School for the graduation, and we were out there early keeping a look on things. I did a couple live videos, and then later in the day pieced together some well wishes from a couple great folks there, including Jennifer Diet, the principal, and Dr. Apostle, and the Coopers, who were taking photos of the fun day. It was warm for everybody, and Jennifer Diet and Dr. Apostle especially were wearing those big, they were basically plush velvet robes, graduation robes.
Oh, sure. Yeah. What a day
and
to be wearing.
They were black, and it was hot.
Oh, man.
Oof.
It was a warm one.
As I watched the gathering of helpers, of which there were tons, and a big thank you to all of them, and then the cars started gathering, and they started making their way through the high school parking lot, and the kids went up on the stage, and it was a weird graduation, but it was kind of cool to see how that worked out, and it seemed to work out very well.
Yeah, it did. I saw the videos, and really impressive. And we got to remember, it's not the same as what the kids expected when they started the school year, but a lot of schools didn't even get that. I have a high school senior that was supposed to be done with everything and have his ceremony, and the school didn't even do that. So it just shows you that, Sheldon High School went the extra mile and did that because it's so important for the kids and all the families and the staff of the school too, all the teachers and Doc Apostle too.
Oh yeah, it's just a good conclusion, wrap to the school year. I mean, it's a way to wrap things up. Today in the news, we got updated numbers on COVID in Mason County. Masks in the state are being required starting Friday as well.
I'll check the weather. It's going to be nice, and I bet they wish they had today's weather yesterday. It's going to be about 10 degrees cooler than yesterday. And we'll talk with Janet Means from Love Inc.
Mason County Public Health was notified of one additional positive COVID-19 test. This is not a resident of Mason County. They're from out of state. They were here visiting family. It brings the total now to 43 positive cases. The patient is a female in her 20s. If you are showing symptoms for COVID, early testing is encouraged. And at the earliest signs of symptoms, please reach out to the respiratory illness triage line. It's 360-427-3615, and they can assist you in scheduling an appointment at Mason Health's drive-through COVID-19 testing.
A statewide public health order is requiring people in Washington state to wear facial coverings in most indoor and outdoor public settings. A separate proclamation requires even more stringent requirements on Yakima County, one of the areas hardest hit by the coronavirus. In addition to being covered by the statewide mandate on masks in public, there will now be a legal requirement that prohibits people from entering a place of business either indoors or outdoors without first donning a mask. Under that same proclamation, businesses in Yakima County are prohibited from allowing a customer to enter a business or conduct business with a customer in any public space unless the customer is wearing a face covering, and the order takes effect Friday.
Wow, that is very stringent there in Yakima County.
Absolutely, yeah.
Washington state firefighters are preparing for a season of potential summer wildfires while adopting new safety measures during the pandemic. The Skagit Valley Herald reporting COVID-19 pandemic has added a new layer of uncertainty to the work of preparing for wildfire season. Firefighters are screened when reporting to work. Temperatures are taken and they answer health questions, such as whether they have had sore throats or fevers in recent weeks and if they've traveled or been exposed to anyone with COVID. Firefighters are also equipped with face masks and close quarters, and talk about hot days with masking, being in the midst of a fire and fire season. I mean, those temperatures are just ungodly. Ugh.
Yeah. You know what somebody has to come up with? They've come up with, we talked about the student who came up with the transparent part of the mouth for people who are hearing impaired and stuff to help them. They have to, I know some of them are more than others, but they have to make a more breathable mask because a lot of these masks aren't medical standards, you know, they don't pass medical standards, okay? But they're to help prevent the spread to other people. But my goodness, someone will become a billionaire if they can make a mask. If we're all going to be wearing these things for weeks and months to come, please make one that's not going to make your face. I'm starting to get chafing on my face. My face is red all the time. I'm at the car lot after the radio show, and I'm just buckets of sweat, especially as the weather gets warmer. It would be great if we could protect other people and still not be suffering for, 8 or 10 hours a day wearing these masks for some people.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because Donna Federer, who's the manager at the Shelton Library, we're Facebook friends, and she had just posted a picture of a runner named Galen Rupp, an Olympic silver and bronze medalist distance runner. He suffers from asthma and allergies. He has been running races wearing a mask that filters pollen. He won the race. He can run, 6 miles in about 30 minutes, which is pretty darn fast, while wearing a mask. It looks like it's got a lot of breathability for him. So there's that. Are you allowed to wear a face shield, like like a plastic, almost like a welder's mask that you see through it?
I personally probably wouldn't wear one of those, to be honest with you. I'd probably sweat it out with the mask over those. I don't. If I were like in the medical industry or something, I could see it. I don't know. I wonder if people would find that more bizarre than just having the mask on, because they're going to be wearing a mask most likely. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just trying to find one that's a little bit easier.
They have to.
Yeah.
One more thing for you here. The Washington State Fire Marshal's Office wants residents to be aware of facts about internet firework sales. Talk about a shift in conversation here. Under the following conditions, pre-sale of consumer fireworks may occur online if the fireworks may only be delivered to the consumer at a licensed and permitted fireworks stand during the legally authorized time periods. The fireworks for sale are legally allowed to be purchased here in our state. All advertisements for the sale of fireworks will contain the license number and expiration date of the licensee, and there's a couple more things there that we have up on our website. Additionally, now with the 4th coming up next week, it's a good time to remember that many pets get out and get loose, scared of the fireworks. So please do what you can now to protect them for next week, whether that's making sure they have enclosed dark areas to go hide, or you get your doggy downers or whatever. Yep. Sale of consumer fireworks in person begins on the 28th, just a couple days from now.
And former Mason County Health Officer Dr. Diana Yu has penned another letter to the Thurston County community about COVID-19. You can find that on our website and on our KMAS Facebook page.
Well, we'll be right back after this. More fun news to share with you throughout the day. It's the Daybreak Show on AM 1030 and FM 103.3. Good morning.
From the iFiber One News Radio Studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Well, good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey and Spencer Hughes on the Daybreak Show. Right now, we're going to check in with Love Inc., and Janet Means is on the phone line. Morning, Jan. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing good. Thank you so much.
Well, I like to have great groups in that do a lot for the community, especially updates when it comes to big events that they are tied to. And we have talked over the last couple of months about Love Inc., the Love Inc. golf tournament, which is always a fun time. But unfortunately, because of coronavirus, put that on the back burner for this year. But still, there is opportunities and the need to support Love Inc. Through different ways. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. We were actually, the tournament was scheduled for July 20th, and then we were thinking we might be able to push it out to September, October, but there was no way to really make that work either. So it's being canceled for this year, but we will, we're looking forward to next year. But in the meantime, outside of having a really, really fun day, the main purpose of the golf tournament is to provide funding for Love Inc. So they can support our operational expenses, as well as the many ministries that we work on with our partner churches. And those ministries include things like providing items for those in need in Mason County, and that's things like kitchenware and blankets, sleeping bags, bedding, furniture, firewood, and much, much more. And although we have wonderful, loving, caring volunteers who are always there for us and have been amazingly supportive throughout the COVID crisis, we also have a small staff and operational expenses and some supplies that can't be donated that need to be funded throughout the year. So because of that, with not having this fundraiser, it's a pretty big impact on our organization. So we were thinking of asking all of our sponsors and donors from the past years if they could please consider making a donation to Love Inc. to help support the amazing organization and the great work that they do for our community and with our partner churches and all our local charities and organizations.
Well, it certainly is a trying time for everybody, but nonprofits are especially hard hit. Talking with just people around during the lockdown and the stay-at-home orders, a lot of folks took the time to really go through their homes, clean out things that they no longer wanted, and then kept a collection because different donation places were not accepting donations. So now is a good time to get in touch too, and if people have things at home to bring in to you, is that another way that we can help out?
Absolutely. And we have had people bringing items into our warehouse on Coda and 4th since, I don't know, maybe in the middle of kind of the shutdown, because that's exactly what people are doing. They're going through and just kind of purging out old things that, they're not using anymore and items that are still usable. But so they've been bringing items down to our warehouse, and the warehouse is open, I believe it's Tuesday through Thursday from 10 to 3, I believe. I can double check with Leanna, but that's what we would really appreciate. If people still have items that they'd like to bring in, we'd be more than happy to take those. And just to be on the safe side, they can always call the Love Inc. office at 360-462-5683 and make an appointment to bring things by.
One thing I just thought of while you were talking and going through that list was the firewood, and now is a great time to start trimming back those trees that you may have, because we need firewood. It's in the fall and the winter, and nobody wants to go out cut down trees at that point. But now's a great time to get them cut down. Help maybe your defensive barriers around your property lines too, in case we have wildfire seasons. But then get that all dried out, and an opportunity to help out many homes that for many home wood fire is one of the only heating sources.
Yes, that's a really good point, Jeff. And we have a huge need of firewood, during the winter time. And so if people are doing that and, using this time to clear and clean off their properties and that sort of thing, and they have excess firewood, we would really, really appreciate that donation. So again, they can just call our office and we'll schedule somebody to, arrange for that type of a pickup.
Well, Love Inc. in Mason County continues to do a lot of great work. We'll put the links in the show notes to the website, Love Inc. of Mason County, and also on the Facebook page. It's got lots of information on the different churches and organizations that you guys have partnered with across the county to help people. What are some other ways that folks can do some things to help spread the word of Love Inc.? Share this interview, share your webpage on their Facebooks and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's for sure. That would be an excellent thing. Word of mouth is really, really helpful. But Facebook is, just a great social venue for sharing. So if they could do that, that would really be appreciated. I also wanted to just mention quickly that our office is open for intakes, meaning people that are in need. We're open to assist them, but we do have some restrictions because of the COVID policies. But we are open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 10 to 3. And then we'll be doing some intakes over the phone during this time anyway. But we will take some walk-ins, but they have to call and make an appointment for the walk-in. And that's only between 10:30 and 2:30 on those Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if somebody's in need, they can either call the office and work over the phone, or if they do need to come in, they can do that. They just need to make an appointment. So I want to make sure people were aware of that.
360-462-LOVE, which is 5683, or loveinc.office@hcc.net. Another email address there, the website loveinc.masoncounty.org. Well, if you have decided to do anything later in this year with a smaller scale fundraiser or anything like that, just let me know and we'll get you on and we'll talk about it. Okay, Jan?
No, absolutely. And I just want to, one last thing, I just want to give a big shout out and a thank you to all the local businesses and other donors who support Love Inc. throughout the year. And we are looking forward to our golf tournament and ball drop next year. So we will be in touch. And, if anybody needs to contact us or would like to make a donation, just, go ahead and give us a call, or you can use our website for that as well. So thank you, Jeff. I really appreciate your time and letting us share this information with our community.
For sure. Love Inc. has been a great organization. I've really been honored to get to know it over the years. Jan Means from Love Inc., thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day.
Okay, thank you. You too, Jeff. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're listening to Daybreak on I-Fiber-One News Radio.
Good morning again to you. Hope you're having a great start to the day. The Daybreak Show rolls on. Spencer, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Midweek already here.
Lots of folks are lining up to donate to the Goodwills and various organizations around the area, as a lot of places have reopened for donations since March 15th or so. I think a lot of families have gone through their closets, one, in an attempt to just clean up during this, two, to see if there's any extra money lying around. I know we sold some furniture items and different things over the last few months over the Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Have you guys found anything or looking or selling? And
yeah, we've sold a few things and we've gotten rid of more things. And my in-laws are up here now looking for a house, so they've been up here for a bit, and they're up here pretty much permanently now. And my father-in-law has a huge pickup truck, and it's so awesome because we've been able to make more dump runs and just kind of weed things out, out of the garage. And definitely donating things was kind of on the back burner. We had boxes full of stuff to donate, but a lot of the Goodwills and a lot of the Salvation Armies and places like that were closed, of course, during the lockdowns. So you couldn't really, they weren't going through clothes, obviously, when there was a pandemic going on. So that kind of slowed down, but definitely trying to thin out our lives as much as we can.
Well, used clothing is a very valuable business, and demand is forecasted to keep growing. Here's ABC's Brian Clark with the story.
An estimated 64 million people bought secondhand clothing in 2019, and even though 2020 has been a lot different, the co-founder and CEO of used clothing marketplace ThredUp says demand is still soaring. ThredUp and third-party research firm Global Data Retail say the used clothing market is valued at $28 billion and forecasts it reaching $64 billion within 5 years. ThredUp, which recently announced a partnership with Walmart, says the pandemic led to many people staying home, cleaning out their closets, and selling what they didn't want online. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Well, thank you, Brian. I mean, that's exactly what we were just talking about there. It makes total sense for folks to look in the home to purge and sell, especially when, for many, financial limitations have really been impacted here over coronavirus.
No, absolutely. And I'm one of those who, not so much now, but for years I was big into Hawaiian shirts or Aloha shirts. And they're expensive. Some of them are 60, 70, 80 bucks, $100. You go to a Goodwill, and you and I have done that kind of treasure shopping together back in the day. And you find a shirt that somebody wore like twice, for $10 or something, and even less on sale days. And you're like, That's about right. I don't want to spend a lot of money. The older I get, the less money I spend on clothing. I'm kind of a simple guy, and I've got like 3 pairs of pants and 3 pairs of shoes, and and some of those were even bought at thrift stores because you can find some good clothing.
I remember I have been thrift shopping since high school. I mean, that is where I got the bulk of my clothes for a long, long time. And I remember, it's funny you say a $10 Hawaiian shirt. There, even probably today, if I went to a thrift store and I saw a $10 Hawaiian shirt, that still would be too expensive for me.
Really?
What? $10?
Are you sure this doesn't have a blue sticker on it?
Is this a yellow tag day or what's the deal? I mean, so what was I reading? I thought it was on CNN yesterday. I saw the headline just about this same stuff. And they were talking about kind of the traditionals, the Coach bags. If you have high level shoes, obviously, Levi denim is always a seller. And you can ship your denim like over to Russia, and I think they'll pay a pretty penny for it as well. There are some pieces of Levi jeans that, they go for tens of thousands of dollars.
Is that tens of thousands of rubles or dollars? Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
I don't know what the conversion rate is.
And then they have the vintage clothing stores. Those tend to see, that's the difference between the equivalent of a thrift store versus an antique shop. You know what I mean? Like you find treasures usually not in antique shops because they value everything. They know what they've got. But there are some vintage clothing stores that make a fortune. I mean, they'll get in the old denim, and they'll get in the old boots, and they'll get in the old jackets, and they'll sell them for a pretty penny. Some of those stores are pretty expensive, but it's the same idea where you're repurposing. And I think that's what I like best about it, just repurposing. I don't like waste. I've never liked waste. The older I get, the less I want to waste. And if somebody else can get some mileage out of a shirt I don't like anymore, why not? Or vice versa.
You have any of those? You got a Hawaiian shirt yet with like cars on it for the lot?
No, I don't think I could wear it either. I could wear like polo shirts but I am thinking of ordering some face masks since now we're all going to have to wear them everywhere we go pretty much. I'm going to try to find some with some cars on it, maybe some cool classic cars.
Oh, that's cool.
Maybe some branding for the manufacturers.
My mom found some Minecraft fabric for Kaiser. For his masks.
Fun. That's cool. Yeah, we got to make it fun, especially for the younger, in the family, that it's a hassle to wear
to get them to buy in.
Yeah, it's almost like Halloween every day of the year.
It's exactly right. Well, more Daybreak Show is on the way. Good morning.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFiber One News Radio.
Hey, good morning, everybody, as we continue on here this Wednesday. And although much cooler than yesterday, it is still going to be warm out there. Good morning, Spencer.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
It's going good. And yesterday it was very hot, mid-80s, maybe a little warmer. I was talking to
warm.
some folks over in Ephrata. They said it was likely going to be mid-90s.
Wow.
And so definitely hot out there. And without fail, every year the conversations roll back to in-car heat. And it's unfortunate that we have to share these stories year after year. But a New York man pleaded guilty after he left his young twins in a hot car to die. And Aaron Katursky here this morning has more for us.
On a hot summer day last July, Juan Rodriguez left his 1-year-old twins in the back seat of his car for hours while he went to work. They were strapped into their car seats. There were no windows open. Rodriguez pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts of endangerment and was sentenced to a year conditional discharge. He had initially been charged with manslaughter and negligent homicide, but the case was adjourned several times while he negotiated the plea. Prosecutors called the deaths of the twins from hyperthermia tragic and reminded caregivers to be extra vigilant now the hot weather is here. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Well, thank you, Aaron. And that is just a tragic story to share, but hopefully acts as a reminder to one parent out there, one family member in the car. And there's a lot going on in people's lives. I hear these stories, Spencer, and I wonder how a how you can leave your kids forgetting to take your kids out of the car.
Yeah.
For hours on end.
I can see leaving. I've left my wallet. I've left my briefcase. I've left my jacket. I've left my driver's license. But I've never, ever, and as you know, we're the Brady Bunch combined. We have 6 kids, and
sure,
we've never done this. I don't understand. People, like, do you not look back at your car? I'm very, very picky about that. Like, I'll look back at my car 3 times to make sure the lights aren't on, to make sure I parked in the lines. I don't understand how people get out of their car and keep walking away without double checking. Is the door locked? Oh my gosh, my kids are in the car seat. But it happens. 37 kids every year, 37 on average in the U.S. alone, die from being left in hot cars.
And the one thing I could perhaps think about is if they are asleep in the car and somebody is letting them rest. But even on a hot day, I would hope that you would say, okay, well, the nap they can continue the nap in the house where it's cool. The other thing on that checklist that you mentioned, those were all things that don't make noise.
Yeah.
Your wallet, your jacket, your sunglasses.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really unfortunate. And the temperatures in cars, and we talk about it all the time, it's usually referring to pets and elderly. But in cars, and now that I'm thinking about how on Friday masks required, things like that, people may opt to stay in the car or maybe have to go back to the car because they don't have their masks on. And you found an article from Live Science with some pretty fascinating numbers.
Yeah, so it found out that within an hour, the temperature inside of a car parked in the sun on a day that reached 95. Now, luckily, we don't have too many of those days here in the Evergreen State, but back home where we came from, that's easily 95, 100, 110 plus. So if the temperature outside is 95 degrees, within an hour, the temperature inside the vehicle was 116 degrees. And the dashboards got even hotter. We never really, you and I talked about this, that we don't see this in studies, like how much everything else heats up. The dashboard gets up to 157 degrees on average. The steering wheel, 127 degrees. The seats, 123 degrees. So it's not just the ambient, the air temperature that you're worried about. It's that the kids are either buckled into the seat or in a car seat. They can also get very hot. And they found that even if you park in the shade, it's still bad. The car still reached an average of 100 degrees, even in the shade. And the steering wheel, 107, the seats, 105. And that's not in direct sun.
I'm looking at this too when it talks about heat stroke. And of course, it's a condition of different factors. So this isn't a black and white thing here. But most cases happen when a child's core body temperature rises above 104 degrees. That is heat stroke. So they're doing some models on this. A hypothetical 2-year-old boy strapped into a car seat in a parked car on a hot day. The child would meet the criteria for heat stroke in just 1 hour if the car were parked in the sun, and 2 hours if the car were parked in the shade. And the other thing is that you heard in that report they were talking about hyperthermia, and normally people associate that with cold temperatures. But the effects from hypothermia, which is having a higher than normal body temperature, that's all that means. And heat stroke happen along a continuum, and they've got internal injuries. It could even have brain or organ damage. So something to think about again. Yeah. If you're not going to have your masks and you're not going to comply, you may be asked to, not enter a business or not partake in that kind of commerce. And if you decide to sit in your car, you can't just sit into a car and it's not just a quick trip into the store anymore.
No. And I've heard some, I don't have it in front of me right now, but I just thought about this. There are some technologies they're starting to study, and I think some cars might even have them, maybe something on the key fob or something that lets you know that there's still a child in the car, a passenger still in the car.
Sure.
And it's sad that it would come to that because thankfully, the numbers as high as they are, even one child dying every year is too much from this. But it's not an epidemic, thank goodness. But maybe that's what some people need is this reminder, like a little light lights up or something, either based on the child's weight or I don't know how they would do it.
I feel like I've heard that before. It's a pressure pad in the back seat.
Yeah.
That alerts you to anything over 25 pounds or something, because that would be a child. That could even be your groceries.
Yeah, and maybe that's just.
it's going to be hot. It's going to be hot this summer. It's going to be hot this summer. People are not going to be going into stores as often. Lots of folks will say, "Well, just wait in the car." Think about that before you do it.
Absolutely,
that's all we're saying. I think today. All right, more Daybreak Show is coming up.
Thank you so much for listening to today's Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. Again, I'm so happy and honored you found us and chose to listen. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of some of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on I-Fiber One News Radio KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. Thank you so much again, and talk with you next time.